Did you know that I caused a major bomb scare in Paris? Let me tell you about it. Did you know that I used to live in Paris? I did. It was a long time ago. I lived there from 99 to 2003, I think it was. But I have so many stories. So I decided, you know what? Why not start telling you some of the stories? And since we're sitting here in my Parisian cafe, here we go. So I lived in Paris for a few years. And when I lived there, no, and the first year I lived there, when I first moved to Paris, I worked as an au pair. I worked for a family for a year. And in exchange for a very, very small salary, very small, I took care of their kids. Well, actually, it was one child that I really had primary care over. He was 3 years old. Oh, by the way, now he's actually a doctor. Crazy. I can't believe I'm that old. Anyway, I digress. So after I moved out of, so I lived with them for a year. And while I appreciated being able to live in such a posh neighborhood, we lived in the 6th arrondissement, which was wonderful. But I didn't feel like I got the full experience of living in Paris because I was working for somebody else. So I found an apartment. So I moved out, found an apartment, and started another chapter of my life. The apartment I lived in was in the 18th, and I had to move all my stuff, obviously. Well, when I was moving out and had to get all my things, no. So I had moved everything out, but I had forgotten a bag. So I went back down to the apartment to get my bag. My bag was black. Now, right next to their apartment was a tabac. And a tabac is like a liquor store, drugstore, coffee shop, all in one. But this was a small one. So this one wasn't a restaurant part of it. It was just like you walked in, there was a counter where you could buy all the things that you needed. And they also sold like lottery tickets, things like that. Oh, side note, if you do go to Paris, you do want to go to a tabac because they're really cool, especially when they do have a cafe and you can sit down and have coffee and have something to eat. It's a truly local experience that you will really enjoy. Okay. So I go to the tabac because it was Wednesday, and I remember this clearly because every Wednesday there is a magazine that comes out that tells you what's going on all around the city. It's a little magazine, and it's updated every week. So it was Wednesday. I bought it. As I walk out of the tabac, I hop on the bus, the number 95 bus, which is a great bus for you to take if you want to sightsee. So I hop on the bus, and I'm sitting on the bus, and I'm all excited because I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. I'm starting my new chapter. I get to live in my own apartment. I was all excited. And then I realized, I don't have my bag. Doggone it. And I had probably gone maybe about 20 minutes. So I got off the bus, and then I had to go to the other side of the road and wait for another bus. That didn't take very long because buses in Paris run pretty often. So I get back on the bus, number 95, going the opposite way. And as I'm driving, I was one of the few people left on the bus. And the bus driver stops way before I wanted to get off. And so he tells me in French, he says, oh, you have to get off here. And I was half paying attention because I was just looking out the window. And he was like, mademoiselle, because back then they called me mademoiselle. Now they call me madame because I'm older. Anyway, mademoiselle. And he told me that I had to get off the bus. And I was like, pourquoi? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? And he's like, I don't know. Je sais pas, mais il faut descendre ici. So I was like, okay. So I had to get off there. So where I exited was let's see, I was on Rue de Rennes was the street that I was on. And I exited like by Saint-Germain. So I was like, okay. And they lived further up. So I was like, well, no big deal. And as I'm just walking slowly along Rue de Rennes to go to the tabac. And a policeman stops me halfway up. And she says, oh, you can't go here. You can't pass anymore. And I was like, why? And she said, oh, because there's a bomb threat. Quoi? I was like, a bomb threat? What? no way, no way. And she said, yeah, someone left a bag in the tabac. You know how you get that feeling when you've done something wrong, like, and you just get hot and it's like starts here and just goes all the way up? I was like, say what now? And she's repeated it, and I was like, I asked her, I was like, c'est noir le sac? And she looked at me, and she's like, yeah, it's a black bag. And I was like, I, 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 I left a black bag in the tabac. And she looked at me, and she was like, what? Now, let me set the scene for you. I'm walking up the street. There are police everywhere. The street is blocked off. Cars cannot drive. And now this is Rue de Rennes is a very busy street. Two-way traffic. Everything was stopped. And they stopped it from one end and they also stopped it from the other. So there was just cop cars and a lot of them. I wish, and this was way before social media, way before, like I didn't have my phone didn't have a camera. I don't even know if I actually had a phone back then. So I don't have any pictures, and I don't think I would have taken them anyway because I was kind of scared. So imagine that. And then here's the cop. I'm talking to the cop telling her that I left a black bag. And I was just like, but what's the big deal? I just left the bag there. And so they walked me up. I walked into the tabac, and there was the bag. And I was like, yeah, that's my bag. I was like, there's nothing in it. I just needed the bag. Like, because I think the bag was actually empty because I had to just bring the bag back with me. And they were all looking at me and rolling their eyes. C'est pas vrai. Oh, c'est pas possible. Oh, la, 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 doing the whole Parisian thing. So they made me open the bag. I opened the bag and showed them, like, it's mine. I promise you, there's no bomb. There's no nothing. It's really okay. And they were all looking at each other like they were in disbelief. Like, no, this little American heifer didn't just cause us to think that the city was about to blow up. So I just was like, and I grabbed the bag and I skedaddled. Like, I didn't wait around. I was like, I need to get out of here before these people try and, I don't know, they could kick me out the country. I was like, I didn't know if they were going to arrest me for a false bomb scare, but it wasn't my fault because I never said it was a bomb. It was just a black bag. And I had left the bag right near the cashier because when I had given him the money for my little magazine, I just took the magazine and walked out. Completely forgot about the bag. I should go back to that tabac because I'm sure the same guys working and be like, do you remember me? I'm the one who caused the bomb scare. I have so many stories. Oh, I hope you join me for for some of them.